Okay, I think we are live for the day. Hopefully everything looks okay. I'm going to bring it up on my phone as I usually do here and just check. Let's go to YouTube and then go to my channel. And it is Friday, so we're looking forward to this. And it does look like we're live, so it's looking good so far. I'm going to drop myself a like. I'll also open up the live chat in case somebody wants to or people want to chat, obviously. I'm going to go to the sticks really quick while we wait for some of you guys to get in here. So good morning to everybody. It's Friday. I feel like this trading week went incredibly fast, way too fast. And I'm actually going to share the stream link here really quick. Okay. I'm going to share this in the Discord server so my members know I'm live. So I'm going to open up Discord really quick. But good morning to everybody. It's beautiful Friday. Looks like the markets are going to recover for us, which is always nice to see after, they fell off a cliff yesterday. So let's go here. And then, you guys don't see this, by the way. I'm talking to myself. Okay, I'm going to add everyone. Pre-market live stream. Okay, send that out. All right, we just sent that out to the Discord. Should be good on that side of things. I think I'm going to refresh my page here because my YouTube studio looks frozen. It looks like maybe notifications weren't sent out that I went live, but that's okay. We're still going to kick it. People that want to join us will join us over time. And yeah, Christian, we got the fedora out. Christian, man, I was up late listening to your music. I just got to say, I love it, man. Love what you're doing. You got me hooked. I hope you make more soon. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and switch to my Chrome browser here so we can look at what futures are doing. And this is really a good sign, I think, going into the trading day. NASDAQ futures are up 68 points, 0.5%. S&P futures are green, only up 0.2%. And then the Dow is up 23 points, only 0.07%. So the NASDAQ's on pace to pace all the indexes. FedEx looks like it's up 5% pre-market. They reported earnings last night after market hours yesterday, and they were really good numbers. They beat on revenue, beat on earnings. If I'm not mistaken, they missed on margin a little bit, but it looks like the markets are kind of shaking that off. Darden Restaurants, that's up 3%. So Nike's down 2%. They reported earnings. I'm not entirely sure what they reported, if they beat on revenue or not, but it looks like whatever they reported, the markets aren't having it with Nike today. But yeah, again, this is really good to see the NASDAQ green going into the day after the way it sold off. Yeah, and notification definitely did not get sent out that I was live this morning because the only people in the stream are my members. I see you, Warner, though, and Andrea. You guys and girls. I don't know if Andrea. I don't know if you're a girl or not, but looks Brent's here. Okay, yeah. All right, we're seeing people pop into the stream now, but I know notification wasn't sent out. But it's good to see everybody. It's Friday. Good morning to everybody. Really pumped for today. Tyler's here. Ito's here. Okay, we're starting to get some more people flooding in, which is a good sign, definitely. Okay, people are saying the notification just came out. I don't know if I put a notification out in my Discord server. I just don't know if YouTube sent out notifications to everybody. I see Albo's here. Andrea says, I'm a boy bro, no girls. I'm sorry, the name. I just didn't want to accidentally call you a guy. Red Sox is in here, Marvin's here, Werner's here, Reese is here. Oh yeah, all right. Here we go. The NASDAQ futures, again, just for everybody popping in now. up 0.5% pre-market. It's on pace to lead the market indices today. K Pooey's in here. Good morning to you. Timothy Taft. Okay, YouTube notification just came. People are saying that's good news. Okay, good deal. Good deal. I didn't want to have to restart the stream because sometimes YouTube messes up. But FedEx reported good numbers today. Beat earnings, beat revenue, missed on their margin a little bit, but the markets are liking it. They're not liking so much what Nike reported though. But let's go to the sticks. I think that's what everybody wants to see. Right here. And just to start off, we got to look at CleanSpark, right? I mean, we're all CleanSparkians, as I like to say here. Up over 1% pre-market. And what is causing that is actually Bitcoin, which was strong basically until I started the stream, and now it's kind of starting to fall off. Not necessarily fall off, but pull back a little bit here. It looks like we're getting ready to make another run at 60,000 for Bitcoin, which would be big for Tesla, MicroStrategy, Riot Blockchain, Marathon Digital, which used to be Marathon Patent Group, which I'll bring Marathon up to see what it's doing pre-market. That's up 2.5%. Riot Blockchain, so these are the pure Bitcoin mining companies. They do nothing else. Riot Blockchain is up 3%-ish after being down 7% yesterday. It was a really, really bad day yesterday for Riot. Anyways, let's look what Tesla's doing pre-market. So I'm also curious on that. That is not the right Tesla. What am I doing? There we go. That's the Tesla we want to look at. Tesla's red pre-market, which is interesting actually, considering the Nasdaq's up pretty big, futures-wise anyway. So it's kind of interesting to see that Tesla would be negative right now. We already mentioned the Nasdaq being green pre-market, but also Bitcoin's green pre-market. So I'm not sure what's going on with Tesla. I would expect Tesla to go green today, just with what everything else in the market's doing. But as we scroll through all of these names, and I'm not in hardly any of these, but these are just the ticker symbols you guys have had me look up over the past few trading days and live streams, and I see a lot of pre-market green across the board. Basically, the only red I'm seeing are the OTC plays, Voyager Digital, and then we saw one right here, TSMP, Humble, HITIF, High Tide, OTC, and OTCs don't trade pre-market, so that's not accurate, right? That's just showing us what happened yesterday with that stock. Worksport, OTC. So really, I mean, when we look closer at this, everything's green. Starpeak Energy, CleanSpark's, one of CleanSpark's competitors is red pre-market by about 1%. Let's see, somebody's saying huge red candle, QQQ pre-market. Well, I will see if that's updated here. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh boy. All right, I'll switch back to Chrome here. So we were just talking about how everything was green, and now all the futures are red. So maybe some volatility coming in today. And it is the quadruple witching day, as people like to call it. So there's going to be a lot more shares traded, but that doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to go way down or they're going to go way up, because you have to remember, every time there's a buyer, there's a seller, and every time there's a seller, there's a buyer on the other end of that transaction. So it all just depends if the buyers outweigh the sellers outweigh the buyers. So that's an interesting move from futures, though, because those were up, pretty respectfully, I guess is the word. Where, I mean, Nasdaq was up 0.5%. Now the Nasdaq's only up or down. I mean, it's down now, which is crazy. And we really want to keep an eye on Bitcoin. I wonder if Bitcoin kind of had to do with the Nasdaq turned down in particular, because we've seen a lot of Nasdaq companies convert some of their cash to Bitcoin. Let's see. Selling Plug, they're having issues like CleanSpark, and their lawsuits start dropping off in May. I haven't been keeping up with Plug Power, but I honestly, when the stock's down 10%, so like 7.5% yesterday, 3.5% pre-market, and it's been in a downtrend for a while, I would say now is probably not the time to be selling the company, especially if you believe in what the company is and what they do and you've done the proper research. Now would be the time to be buying. And I understand that sometimes you can get a little impatient and stuff. And I'm not saying selling Plug was the wrong move by any means, because I don't know your financial situation. I don't know your mindset. I don't know how much research you've done on the company. But in the case of CleanSpark, for example, whenever we see a dip like that, like we've had, I generally like to buy more shares because I believe in the company. I've done all my research. The short report, the fake lawsuits don't change my conviction about the stock or the company. Nothing fundamental has changed with the stock or company. But that's just the way I look at things, and it doesn't mean it's necessarily the correct way to look at things. Okay. Lordstown Motors is actually green pre-market today. This one has been beaten down heavy. Obviously with the Hindenburg Research short report coming out on Lordstown Motors. This is one I've thought about getting back into. I am a little bit upset because they were misleading about their pre-orders. But according to them, they're still on pace for deliveries or in production in September. So we'll have to see if that actually comes true or not. But it is tempting to buy back into Lordstown Motors at $13. But the only reason I haven't done so is because, one, I'm pretty low on cash right now after buying the dip for the past few weeks. And then two, a lot of the other stocks I like Created CRTD, has been down in the 4s, which is ridiculous for that company. SFT's been in the 8s, which is ridiculous for that company. And in SGBX, that's been in the low 5s, which is absolutely ridiculous for SGBX. So there's just been other stocks that I have higher conviction in right now that I personally have been buying shares of in my Robinhood and my other accounts. And if you guys are members, you would see you guys have probably seen my my buy alerts in the Discord. But I have added a few shares of CleanSpark in my other accounts. The only reason I haven't added CleanSpark yet in my Robinhood is because it already makes up such a large portion of that portfolio, like 50% of my Robinhood account. So I don't really want to add to that. Although right now it's really tough looking at it in the 23s and not hitting the buy button in that portfolio. But I have no doubts it will recover, especially as we see Bitcoin hopefully on the move back up here. We really want to see this make a move towards 60,000 today would be ideal, which obviously would help out CleanSpark. But I don't just say that because I'm a CleanSpark shareholder, but it would also help out Tesla, which we already looked at this morning, which was red pre-market. I don't know what it's doing now. Still red pre-market by about 1%. And if Bitcoin can recover, this will help Tesla. And if Tesla does well, chances are the Nasdaq's going to have a really, really good day. And if the Nasdaq doesn't have a good day, that means a lot of the stocks we own, or I own, I should say, like CleanSpark, all the growth stocks, basically. If the Nasdaq's down 3-4%, those stocks are going to be down 5-10+%. And we were looking at this earlier as I was scrolling through this. We saw a lot of green pre-market, and we still see a lot of green pre-market, but some of that green has flipped to red on the recently viewed tickers here on the Webull platform. So we definitely have seen the markets kind of take a spill into the open. Again, the market doesn't open for another 14 minutes, so a lot can happen. But it is interesting what's been happening because, again, the Nasdaq futures were up 0.5%. And then just like that, they were negative. So it might be a pretty volatile day today. I just want to see what CleanSpark's still green pre-market, although this used to be over 1%. Now it's only 0.26%. GameStop is even, it's going to be a bad day if GameStop, along with the rest of the stocks, are red. Normally, if the rest of the stocks are red, GameStop's at least doing well. But that wasn't the case yesterday, and it doesn't look like it's going to be the case today either. All right. Let's see. GIK is still undervalued. SPAC still, 100% agree. Dave Dodds. I think about any SPAC you can buy right now is a pretty good deal. CCIV, this one keeps coming down. If this gets into the teens, that gets really, really attractive. But the one SPAC I'm in right now, GIK, this one is definitely undervalued, right? I mean, I was saying it was undervalued when it was $15 per share. Now it's $11, and it was in the 10s. So SPACs have gotten hammered. You're almost paying net asset value for a lot of the SPACs at $10 per share. So if I would buy shares of GIK right now, the maximum I could lose per share of the stock I own is $1.39, which is nothing when you think about the risk-reward potential of the company. And I think part of the problem with GIK is that they actually have working production. Like, people don't want to invest in something that has working production. Even though it's an electric vehicle company. They don't want to invest in something that has working production right now. They want to invest in the concepts, the Lucid Motors, those types of companies, because they see that as being more speculative, which might have more upside. And we're definitely in more of a speculative market right now, I will say. And that's kind of going against my own grain, right? Because I'm pretty well known for investing into speculative companies. But it's pretty easy to see that speculative companies, their valuations have kind of gotten out of hand a little bit. So I think this pullback / correction we've had over the past few weeks has been really healthy, especially for these speculative stocks that I own, and I'm sure a lot of you own out there. I see somebody saying banks are dead money, and yeah, that's true. I mean, that's another good note. Like banks, I don't know if Wells Fargo necessarily, but we'll look at it. But a lot of the banks, Wells Fargo's we've even seen this with Wells Fargo over the past month. Let's go to the 3 months. 3 months is still looking like a pretty good chart for Wells Fargo, but the banks have had so many investors flow into their stock, which just tells me institutions, they're kind of cycling out of tech stocks, growth stocks, innovative companies, and back into the Wells Fargos and stuff. But man, a lot of these banks are going to fail, and Wells Fargo is probably the worst of them in my opinion. You're going to see a few of the traditional banks make it and survive, but a lot of these banks aren't innovating, right? And we're at the midst of a fintech revolution, and there's all these banks that aren't even looking at it right now. So I think that's going to be the downfall of a lot of the banks. But definitely right now, the banks have performed well. So if you invest in banks, nothing against you, and well done, well timed. Looks like Bitcoin hopefully is making a move up again here. Again, a move up to over 60,000 would be ideal for today. Looks like our low was around 56. I must have missed it when it hit 56, or that was last night, wasn't it? Yeah, that was last night. And then this morning we've kind of made a move back up, which is nice to see. Okay. Anyways, let's see. TS says GIK can't compete with Tesla. I don't think GIK is trying to compete with Tesla. I mean, they convert powertrains to electric powertrains and that sort of thing. They develop an entire different class of vehicle than Tesla. They're not competing with Tesla. I don't agree with that. Let's see. And Dave Dodds, Dave Dodds said that. Well, I missed that. Thank you, Dave Dodds, though. Josh says NASDAQ's green in futures again. Let's go to the QQQ and Webull and look at this. Yeah, it's green, barely, but definitely better than what we had, where it was negative after it was positive 0.5%. Paul in Las Vegas says Humble will be your greatest pick of all time. Thank you, Fedora Power Baby. Yeah, a lot of people definitely got into TSNP and Humble because of me. For better or worse, right? I always say do your own research. Don't blindly follow what I'm doing. I'm still invested in the company. A lot of people have gotten impatient with it and sold out. But over the past couple days, it's kind of bounced back, which has been nice to see. And I'll actually be, Paul, I think you'll be interested in this, but I'll be doing a video. I might delay it from today till this weekend, like Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. But I'm going to be doing a video covering my 2 favorite OTC stocks. So obviously TSNPD is going to be one of them, and then the other one is a recent MJ stock I got into probably a month ago or more. GGTTF GTech Holdings, and then a bonus stock I'm going to include in that video is Created. Even though it's not an OTC, it's still a penny stock. But I will clarify it's just a bonus stock pick for that video. But that video will be coming out, so I'll be talking about TSNP again here pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. TS says, should I sell all my VU and go all in on Tesla or CleanSpark? I definitely would not go all in on CleanSpark. I wouldn't go, and I'm probably the biggest CleanSpark bull there is, but I would never go all in on the company. Now, over time, CleanSpark already makes up 50% of my portfolio, so over time, if my bullish thesis for CleanSpark plays out, that could very well develop into a 90% holding in my Robinhood portfolio, right? So over time, it could become an all-in stock for me, just like Tesla has for so many people, where Tesla only used to make up, 20, 30% of somebody's portfolio, but ever since it's shot up in share price, it now makes up 80, 90% of people's portfolios. So no, I'm not going all in on it right now. I wouldn't recommend anybody to do that. Obviously, I can't give financial recommendations, but if I were in your shoes, I would not. But I think the VOO, any S&P 500 ETF, anything that tracks the S&P 500 is probably a good thing to be in, especially in retirement accounts, Roth IRAs. It kind of mitigates the risk a little bit with the speculative investing that's gotten so popular lately. And I am the biggest speculative investor out there, right? That's what we cover on my channel, and I'm just saying that. Let's see. Terror says Fed won't extend relief from banks from key capital rule. I'm not sure what the key capital rule is. I might, but I just don't know it by the terminology, by the phrase. But I think you're right. The Fed probably won't give more. They're probably gonna take away some of their relaxation, I guess you could say, that they've given the banks, where they could hold less money in their reserves and whatever those rules were. Those are probably gonna go away over time. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if that's going to hurt the banks necessarily, but I definitely don't think banks are the stocks to be in over the next decade. Let's see. Rex, SOS blockchain tech company. People ask me about this one almost every stream, and my answer is always, why would I invest in SOS when I can invest in Riot Blockchain, Marathon, or CleanSpark, or just like an American Bitcoin miner? And I'm not saying that to be racist to Chinese people by any means, but just with Chinese stocks, and SOS is one of those, you have to be a little bit more cautious. They don't have the accounting rules we have. They don't have the accounting standards. You need to make sure they're not fluffing their numbers, and a lot of times they're a little more secretive. And in the case of SOS, they're more secretive, right? They're protective about where their miners are held, all this stuff. So in my eyes, I understand the economy, I understand the tax laws and all this stuff in the United States of America. I don't understand those rules and laws overseas, and these stocks you don't know near as much about. You can't have as much confidence in them. So I go back to I understand what I understand, and that's here in America. So what does SOS do that the Bitcoin mining companies and blockchain companies in America don't do? If I can find something that really separates SOS apart from the rest of them, sure, I'll buy into SOS. But right now, I think the protectiveness of it is kind of hurting it right now. I think the company should come out and be a little more open about where they house their miners. Now, maybe they can't. Maybe their government won't let them. Who knows? I'm not too well versed. Let's see. Somebody says they aren't just Bitcoin; they're insurance too. Okay. It's a good point. I mean, I honestly haven't looked into the company enough, but obviously because I had no idea they did insurance too, so I should look into it a little bit more. But then I go back to the fact that I can invest in like a Lemonade here, where that I understand a little bit better. Lemonade, they're innovating what insurance is and what insurance does, right? That's my thought. Glenn says, hi Ben, a nice day to add CleanSpark again. It already gave up all its pre-market gains. Let's see, is it red? Not necessarily red pre-market, but yeah, it's definitely down from what it was pre-market. So yeah, CleanSpark over the past week has been a good buy ever since they did the offering. The offering closed yesterday. With CleanSpark, we're waiting for direction from Bitcoin, right? We've broken past 60,000 a few times now, but each time we've broken past 60,000, we've kind of faded back down. So I think your Bitcoin mining companies are really waiting for Bitcoin to pick a direction. Are we going to pass 60,000 and stay above 60,000, or are we going to crash back down, right? So I think we're waiting for direction with not just CleanSpark, but like Riot Blockchain, which is only up 1.84% pre-market now, and then Marathon Digital Holdings is up 2.5% pre-market. So I think we're kind of waiting for direction. And Brent says he likes what Lemonade's doing as well. Yeah, this is one I'm currently not in, but Lemonade is a stock I want to add to my Roth IRA, my retirement account. And valuation has come way down, almost cut in half for Lemonade. And under 100, I think it's a pretty good deal. I need to do some more research on it. But for a Roth IRA stock holding that I can start at the age of 19, I think Lemonade could be a big gainer for me over the course of my lifetime. So the next time I deposit money into my Roth IRA, I'll probably buy some shares of Lemonade. We'll just see where they're at. I will probably deposit money into that Roth in my dividend account. Both accounts I'll deposit money into. The 21st or 22nd is what I generally do. Let's see. TS says, Rex, why you put ads on videos when you already make lots of money from stocks? Because it's just a revenue stream that I would be silly not to take advantage of. And me being a college student, obviously I have a lot going on, so it's just another way to reward myself. And with advertisements, it's a little more liquid, where with my investments and stock portfolio, I don't necessarily want to keep selling my stocks to take some money out, so I have money to spend, right? If I get some ad revenue, right, that goes right to my bank account, that can be my spending. So that's kind of my income right now. I mean, YouTube's my job. Investing is kind of just the side gig right now, or I'm trying to build the portfolio up really, really strong so that, over time I can hopefully become a multi-millionaire, maybe a billionaire by the time I retire. Anyways, let's see. Abraham Muscle says, Rex, I don't know why I feel that this month is going to be a red month like last month. It very well could be, and I think that's a good way to approach it, though. Is a little bit skeptical. I guess aware is a better word. That we could have another month of downside. CleanSpark's up almost 3%, so this is popping a little bit now, which is interesting. But always being aware that the markets could continue to dip, right? So we want to keep working, keep accumulating cash, so you can buy on the dip. And it's always a good idea to have that mindset that at any time, even if we've been down for weeks or a month, it could keep falling. It could fall more tomorrow, right? You want to have cash always available. And that's why I'm kind of saving up my cash and not necessarily buying stocks right now, because I'm pretty low on cash, and I want to bring my cash stockpile up a little bit, because I am aware, just like you, that over the course of the next month, who knows, the markets could continue to fall. See, we got a donation here from Paul. Thank you, Paul. You don't need to donate, but thank you so much. It means a lot. Keep an eye on NEXCF. I'll bring that up on the chart here, and it looks like the markets are. They opened. The market's opened. So I'll go back to all that. But keep an eye on NEXCF. I will tune into your next show for sure. The fedora is looking powerful. I hope the fedora is powerful. It'd be nice to see the markets kind of recover a little bit here. But thank you for the donation again. Definitely. KO, good morning to you. Yeah, Poif says GIK options going to expire worthless today. I wouldn't be surprised if my GIK call options expire worthless either, but I'm going to ride them out. Hopefully the merger takes place soon, though. CleanSpark up 2%. We kind of gapped up. Now we're falling back down. Bitcoin still falling from where it was. Hopefully we make another run at like 60,000. We'll see, though. Curiosity Stream, one I got out of in my Robinhood account, but I've been adding in my other portfolios, and I want to buy back into my Robinhood account. That's up 1.5%. See what Tesla's doing. Tesla here. This will be a big tell. Down 1%. Hopefully we have buyers step into Tesla in the 650s. I think we're going to have a lot of buyers. If this continues to drop, Tesla's going to have a lot of buyers right at the $600 level or the upper 500s. So look for that. Let's see what the NASDAQ as a whole is doing, though. It'd be interesting. Yeah, NASDAQ's green when Tesla's red, which is really quite interesting. Marathon's up 2%. Riot Blockchain's up 1%. Let's go back to my holdings. CleanSpark up 2%, still falling a little bit, though, from the open. Lordstown Motors is now red again, down 0.6%. That's been rough for Lordstown. GameStop down 4%. Back below $200. That's kind of a big deal. SGBX is actually green. Hopefully that stays green because that is tremendously undervalued. Shift Technologies is down 1%. I like Shift anywhere in the 8s. I was buying when it was like $8 and in the low 8s. Created is at 510, up almost 2% today, but very thinly traded. GIK down 0.5%. That's obviously SPACs have been hammered, and it looks like that's going to continue. So kind of a mixed open today for the stocks I own. CleanSpark's leading the way, obviously. Looks like we have buyers coming in, and I'll zoom in on this because this could get pretty interesting pretty quick. Because yesterday at the open, I mean, we just shot off like a cannon. And looks like Bitcoin's trying to make a move maybe back up, and it does. We'll keep an eye on Bitcoin. That would be big for everybody. But CleanSpark looks like it's trying to make a move 3% plus at the market open here. And there's that big green candle we were talking about that might come. And it is up 3% now, so we'll keep an eye on all of that stuff. What else should I bring up on here? Yeah, Brent says quad witching is in the markets today too, and that is true. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be way green or way red. It just means there's going to be a lot of shares traded today. And look at CleanSpark, up 4% now. CleanSpark's ready for liftoff after the offering closed yesterday. It's ready for liftoff. Look at Blink charging up 1%. Blink charging and ChargePoint, they've recovered a lot from where they fell to. But they're still down quite a bit. I mean, if you can get ChargePoint in the low 20s or in the teens, might be a pretty good bet. I sold out a ChargePoint when it was like $40, but if it would hit the teens, I would think about getting back into that one for sure. So what we're seeing across the board is a lot of these companies, their valuations have come down a lot, and it's presented a pretty good buying opportunity across the board, especially for the speculative growth stocks, which is good to see, which hopefully means a market reversal back in our favor is coming. Obviously, Bitcoin's going to be big, and I think part of the reason Bitcoin's done so well is because people have inflation fears, and if inflation actually ticks up and stays ticked up, unlike the Fed thinks it will, the Fed thinks it's going to be temporary inflation, but if this is permanent inflation, Bitcoin's going to do very well. It's an asset that hedges against inflation, which is why you've seen a lot of people pile into it, in my opinion. You've seen companies, retailers, institutions, funds, start to take Bitcoin pretty seriously. Because why would you not? I mean, even if the risk of inflation sticking around for a while is minimal, why would you not at least hedge against that partially? Let's see what CleanSpark. Okay, so CleanSpark up moving like crazy, so it's hard to keep up with it. Up 2.5% to 3% right now. So pretty good open for CleanSpark. Hopefully that continues. Lordstown Motors looks like it's flirting with going green. We'll keep an eye on this one as well. Workhorse is up 1%. They had a big green candle there. And this is one that's also been beaten down. And if they do get a contract reversal in that USPS bid, that's going to be obviously very big for the company. The stock price will likely double if that happens or more, just on the rumor or the possibility of that happening being confirmed. I think it could double, and then if the contract actually does get reversed and goes in Workhorse's favor, that's when I think we could see the stock price go to 100. Right now, I think it's a far fetch. Don't think it's very likely that it'll happen. I think it can happen, definitely. Looks like SGBX is still up around 2%. Created's flat on the day at $5. I personally buy Created CRTD anywhere it touches the 4s. I've been loading up. GIK down almost 1%, man. SPAC looks like another tough day for SPACs. CCIV's even red, although it looks like we're getting kind of a strong bullish push on CCIV, so we'll keep an eye on everything. Sven says when CLSK hit 70, for example, will you cash out like 10%? Like every time the price hits an X amount, you'll cash out some percentage. I would say right now I'm not and CCIV just turned green, by the way. Right now I'm not looking at selling out of CleanSpark anytime soon. This is one I want to be invested in for the rest of my life, as long as nothing fundamental changes with the company. Now, obviously that would change if for some reason CleanSpark went to $100 per share within like a week. Then it would be stupid not to take some profits and hope to buy back in lower. But if it goes up at the rate it's been going up over time, I don't have plans on selling it anytime soon, no. CCIV, very strong move here. Hopefully this will continue. I know a lot of people are in CCIV. I know a lot of people are looking at it. CleanSpark extending its gains here. Pretty strong start today. I like it. Up 420. Now 444. 4.44% it's up right now. Hopefully that continues. Really, really like to see that. Let's look if Tesla's recovered at all, because it's been a rough day for Tesla. And it looks like it's trying to recover. It was down about 1% at the market open. Now it's trying to recover. And this would be really good for the markets if it could recover. S-Mail says, good morning to you as well. James Davis says, Humble is trying to climb. That's good news. And again, I'll be talking about Humble TSNP this weekend in this weekend's video sometime. So stay tuned for that. I know a lot of people look forward to me talking about TSNP whenever I do. But I'm still invested in it. Let's see. Rex, have you ever gotten into biotech, or do you prefer to avoid? I bought CLVS in the 5s, and I'm really happy with today's performance, but they are a roller coaster. If I'm not mistaken, CLVS is Clovis? Yeah, it is. Oh wow, up 30%. So they must have had news today. I'm not sure what it was, but congratulations on those gains. Very well done. Not one I've ever been in. Biotech is an interesting space. The only reason I have not invested in biotech necessarily is because it's one of those sectors and industries that's difficult for me to wrap my head around, and it's kind of a cardinal sin to invest in something you don't fully understand. Now, again, that's my fault. That's not you guys' fault. Just because I don't understand something doesn't mean you guys can't invest in it and understand what it is. I should really try again and try and learn some of these biotech terms and what these companies do, because I do think biotech has a future, and we've seen that. We've seen it has a future for a very long time now. All the innovation that's come out thanks to biotech, all this stuff. Sven says around 800 or 900 shares in CleanSpark. Hope it will do well, bro. Also investing in Creative with 800 in SGBX with 700 shares. Yeah, I think all those names are going to do really well. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but I will say I'm heavily invested in all three of those stocks, so I'm in the same boat. I believe in them. I think they're going to do really well in the long term. Let's see. S-Mail says, how about SLGG? See this stock 10x. There are rumors about a merger with GameStop. What is SLGG? Super League. I guess I could see that. Super League Gaming. I would have to look into it, though. I'll write it down, and I'll look into SLGG, because that would be interesting. If GameStop would acquire a company or merge with another company, all of a sudden that's just another reason for retail traders to jump back into the stock and send it to new all-time highs. So I would keep an eye out on that. Let's see, Multi-Guitarist says, how do you find your emerging industries? It's not necessarily about the industries for me, I guess. It's more about just the companies, right? If I find companies that are innovating, I'm probably going to invest in the company, right, if I can understand it. So I don't have a great answer for that, I guess. Somebody says, bring up AM. Yeah, we should look at AMC, and then we should look at GameStop, see how GameStop's doing. It was down pre-market, so AMC's down 1%. Let's see what GME's doing. I'm guessing GameStop's down as well. Oh, wow, GameStop down 7%. Let's see. Did I miss any other chats here? I don't think so. I think I'm caught up on all the chats, so that's good. Let's just go back through the tickers here. Tesla's still struggling a little bit, down 1%. It was trying to make an upwards move. It's kind of sold off since then. Hopefully this recovers more. We saw Marathon up pretty big. Now that's kind of pulling back. Same with Riot. And then same with CleanSpark, where CleanSpark was up 3-4%. Now we're only up 2%. So, and that obviously has to do with Bitcoin. Looks like it's weakening a little bit here. But impossible to say what's going to happen today. We're only 10 minutes into the trading day. So obviously keep an eye on Bitcoin throughout the day. Bitcoin really is a market indicator these days, where if Bitcoin does well, the overall market's going to do well. Card says, when will the NASDAQ be bullish again? Nobody knows. I think what everybody did know is valuations were getting overstretched a little bit. And I think everybody understood that a correction and a dip probably had to take place. And it's probably a good thing it did take place and has taken place. Nobody knows when it'll reverse, though. The best thing you can do is keep averaging down. Keep buying the dip on the stocks you love, the stocks you own. Let's see. George says, how about Wrap Tech? Yeah, I actually have heard about Wrap Technologies. Nobody's ever asked me about it before, and I think it's this stock right here. I've actually looked into this one. I think it's this one. Correct me if this isn't the right ticker symbol, and I apologize in advance if it isn't, George. But I have looked into Wrap Technologies. They definitely are innovative. I think what they're doing is a great thing. Basically, for anybody unfamiliar with this stock, is they're basically transforming what police officers and law enforcement have in the tools they can use. So Wrap Technologies is basically, just think of it as a cord. It's basically a cord, so a strand of cord basically that shoots out of a pew, and it wraps around the suspect, or whoever they're chasing after. It wraps around their body, ties them up basically, so it doesn't hurt the suspect. A lot of police departments and law enforcement agencies have bought the product from Wrap Technologies. Very interesting technology, very innovative. I definitely see a place for it. So keep an eye on this one. Definitely, it's not one I'm in right now because I struggle to understand the total addressable market, the TAM for the company. But I don't think it's a bad stock to be in. So definitely one to keep an eye on. And CleanSpark just went red. Look at that. Oof. Flushed red after a strong open. Big, and it definitely all has to do with Bitcoin falling off a cliff here. Yeah, Tristan says today is quadruple witching, and that is true that today is quadruple witching, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean stocks are going to be way up or way down. It just means there's going to be a lot of shares traded. Let's see, USMC says, why do you have multiple trading accounts? What's the benefit? There's several different benefits, and I'll start with the fact that I have a dividend-only account, a retirement account, and my growth speculative portfolio. I'll focus on those 3 accounts that I have right now. And obviously the reason I do that is to obviously have a retirement account, and 2, so I can separate my dividends away from my growth portfolio and be able to see the differences and study both portfolios and the performances of both easier. And I use M1 Finance for my dividend account because I think it's a great dividend portfolio platform. And then when we get into my other growth stock portfolios, my other stock portfolios in general, beyond the dividend account and the Roth IRA, it just gets into kind of me protecting my net worth, where I don't necessarily want people to know my net worth, I guess you could say. So it's protection for me, I guess you could say. What am I studying in college? Good question. I'm majoring in finance and minoring in accounting. So I'm a business junkie. I definitely enjoy the accounting side of things, right? I mean, I think there's a lot to learn with accounting. And Bitcoin continues to fade here, but CleanSpark broke back green again. If Bitcoin keeps fading, it's not going to... I'll go out on a limb and say CleanSpark's probably not going to continue to be green. Best case scenario right now is Bitcoin bounces off 58,000 and tries to make another run. Because, I mean, when we draw the trend line here, it's not like this is crazy. The movement's crazy right now. You can draw something like this way out where you can see we've consistently set higher highs, higher lows, right? So not necessarily concerned about this. Hopefully it does bounce back, though. I mean, we've seen 2 pretty big red candles pop in here. Hopefully the green starts to return, though. TS says I have a bright future with this channel. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely have a passion for it, and I love hanging out with you guys. I just started doing these live streams, but I definitely am enjoying it, and I enjoy hanging out with you guys. And beyond that, I enjoy making the videos and investing and sharing my ideas of stocks I'm looking into. Devon says treasury bonds are killing the market. I think all that, the concern over the treasury bonds is way overstated. People freak out about that way too much, and I don't think it's retail traders causing the sell-off in the markets. It's more the institutions that have like literally computers set up in an algorithm set up. Oh, if treasury bonds go up this, or the yields go up this much. If the yields go up this much, sell this many stocks, right? I think that's what's crashing the markets, and I think it's all really silly, and I don't think it's going to last. I think what's getting us is the volatility of it, not necessarily that they're going up. Because all things considered, when you look in the long-term horizon, a long-term time span, it's like yields are still so low with the treasury bonds. Not of concern to me whatsoever, right? People are freaking out. Over the past 12 months, bonds are as high as they've ever been. But when you go beyond a year, guys, I mean, the yields right now they're still so low. I'm not concerned one bit. Maybe it's going to be a fault of my own, but I'm not concerned one bit about it. I do think it's the algorithms that these institutions and funds have. Oh, the treasury bonds are ticking up. We got to sell some stocks. Let's go. And then that crashes the market a little bit. And I also think, was it Jeremy or Meet Kevin had a pretty good thesis that institutions and funds are selling out of these tech stocks because they're kind of under pressure right now. But over time they're going to start thinking, oh wow, tech stocks, wow, those are a pretty good deal right now. Let's buy back into those, and then all of a sudden the valuations are going to soar back up. That's the thought process that I can't remember who it was, either Meet Kevin or Jeremy has. I would say I share that same thought process, right? In CleanSpark, it looks like Bitcoin's recovering maybe, which is really nice to see. And CleanSpark is following suit. Hopefully both those continue to do it. KR15 says do economics, then you can do anything. I did think about doing economics, but a finance major gets basically a little bit of everything: marketing, advertising, business management, economics, accounting, spreadsheet analytics, all of those types of things. That's why I kind of went with a broader, major, so I could dip my toes into a lot of different fields. Let's see. Yeah, Speed and Power says I feel like retail is actually buying more, and I would agree with that. I think retail traders, and we've seen it with my community and you guys watching this, right? Retail traders have been buying more. We haven't really been selling, which is, again, backs the claim that this is institutions and funds that are doing this selling. It's not the retail investors. It's the algorithms that are being tripped and being set off when they see the yields tick up. So I don't think it's of concern right now, and I do think the funds, the institutions, they're going to be back. They're going to be back with a vengeance. I just got a Robinhood notification that SFT is down 5%. Wow, that SFT's really fallen. They didn't have news come out or anything, did they? 838, man. If that touches the 8s, that's a screaming buy. I personally buy shares right at $8 normally with SFT. So that if this continues to drop on SFT, I probably will buy more. It's tempting, but again, I'm still pretty low on cash from where I want to be. SGBX is red now. Oh my gosh, if SGBX hits the 4s, that's ridiculous. I mean, oh man, the valuations on GIK, CRTD, SFT, and SGBX right now, they're ridiculously low. Like, the odds of you losing 50% in your investment over the next few years is so extremely low right now, versus the odds of all of these stocks 4xing or more over the next 4 to 5 years is... I would say that's going to happen any day over them dropping another 50%. So the risk reward with these stocks is just incredible right now. And they've been getting slammed, absolutely slammed. My question is, since these are so thinly traded and institutions and funds aren't necessarily a big part of these stocks, eventually the institutions and funds that are selling out are going to run out of shares. And I think a lot of this probably has to do with these stocks getting shorted, which obviously, if we know, in the long run, shorts actually help a stock move up quicker. So shorts aren't necessarily bad for a stock or a company if you're in the right investment, but it is definitely painful in the short term, seeing GIK almost at net asset value, where it literally cannot dip more than it's dipping. Like, the SPACs can't go lower than $10 per share in most cases. CRTD at $4 per share, ridiculous. SGBX, it's going to bring in half its market cap and revenue this year. That's ridiculous. SFT, compared to its competitors, the valuation on SFT, incredibly cheap. So I think the markets are definitely missing these four in particular. But even when I look at like a CleanSpark after this offering, I think CleanSpark is tremendously undervalued. I think within a couple of years, this one will be doing $1 billion in revenue, especially if Bitcoin continues to go up, which, by the way, as I'm talking about Bitcoin, it's recovering here. And like I said, the best case scenario would be to recover and punch off of 58,000. That looks like it's exactly what happened. We hit 58,000 and we hit some support. Buyers are stepping back in. So that's obviously good for your CleanSpark, obviously good for your Riot, and I want to see how the pure play Bitcoin miners are doing. Riot Blockchain's up 3.5%. Marathon, see what Marathon's doing. Marathon's up 4.5%, really. So the pure play Bitcoin miners are doing really well today, and it probably has to do with them being pretty red yesterday. CleanSpark's slacking a little bit in comparison to those two in particular, but I have no doubts if Bitcoin keeps going up, CleanSpark, with the way it's undervalued right now, it'll catch up definitely. Okay, back to the chat. I've avoided it for a little bit. Sorry. And Josh says CleanSpark volatility is wild right now, and it definitely is wild. And hopefully, obviously I don't hope the institutions sell their shares. And if you guys don't know, a lot of institutions jumped into the stock. They bought shares of the company at $22. That's what an underwritten public offering is. It's institutions buying shares of the company. So the 9 million shares or whatever the offering was didn't hit retail traders' hands. They went directly to institutions and funds that wanted to invest in the company at $22 per share. Obviously, I don't want them to sell their shares, but over time, it's inevitable they will back to the markets. And as that happens, obviously that means there's going to be a larger float on the stock. There's going to be more shares technically more shares outstanding, right? So that technically would lead to the stock being less volatile, because as the float gets bigger and bigger, that means it takes more and more shares to move the stock up and down. Okay, Sven says, "Am I invested in all of my watch list plays?" Let me look through this. These four right here, I'm not. Workhorse, Ride, CCIV, and GameStop, I am not invested in. No. The rest of them I am. So other than CCIV, GameStop, Lordstown Motors, and Workhorse, I'm invested in all of them. Yes. Andre Simon's in here. He says, "Hey Rex, you're the man. Thanks for stopping in." It's good to see all you guys come out for this. It's awesome, man. The support you guys show is incredible, and I can't thank you again. Devin says the Nasdaq's green again. Devin, I should just designate you to being the guy with these streams that is just constantly Nasdaq's green, Nasdaq's green, Nasdaq went red, Nasdaq went red. Keep us all updated. I should have you on the stream so you can just pop your voice in constantly. Oh, man. Okay, thoughts on Lordstown Motors. I've shared this recently in the last 2 trading days. Obviously, very beaten down right now. I was one of the first investors in the company when the SPAC went public. I'm pretty disappointed in Steve Burns in the way they did mislead investors about orders. They did say they're still on track for production deliveries by September. And if that is true, and they do have production and deliveries by September, that's going to be a big deal, because then they're going to have the first mover advantage, where this will be the first all-electric work truck, full-size work truck, to hit the markets, to hit consumers' hands. So definitely want to keep an eye. I'm keeping an eye on to get back into, just not one I'm in right now. And I do think the short report raised some good concerns about the company, right? I think Lordstown needs to address those in a better fashion than they have. Demon says, "I'm right on it." Yeah, I like it. Paper Player says, "Guys, search up Pig Pips." Okay. Yeah. We're not all about this advertising here, so we are going to refresh the page. And we're going to give you a little timeout here. I'm not a big fan of the the advertisements. Put user in timeout. Come on, Paper Player. If it'll let me. It's not letting me, so I guess I'm just going to have to remove it. Okay, anyways, back to the chat here. Anyways, back to this. Okay. Yeah, Marvin says Devin and Josh and me are the QQQ watchers. I like it. I like having guys in here just saying, Nasdaq went green, Nasdaq went red. And it makes my job easier, right? Oh, man. Lisa says, how do you look at the Nasdaq? Well, there's multiple ways you can, but if you just type into Google, like, Nasdaq, it'll pop up. Another way is the ticker symbol QQQ, which is the Invesco. It tracks the Nasdaq. A lot of the QQQs, if you type them in, like ProShares, Ultra Pro, these all track the Nasdaq pretty much. So that's why you can keep an eye on those. Yeah, Josh says, well, on that note, it's red. All right, Mr. Flores says, we going green. Let's go back here. Bitcoin's still trying to recover here, which will be big. CleanSpark only up 1.5%. I say only up 1.5%, but 1.5% is still a pretty good move. I hope we go green with the stimulus checks. Yeah, I think that's correct, Sven. Today was the last day that today's the last day that stimulus checks are going in. So after today, all the stimulus checks are supposed to have been sent out. So hopefully that will help the markets out a little bit with liquidity. Kev York says, do you still have a Lordstown truck on pre-order? Have they given you an update? Yeah, I do have a Lordstown truck on pre-order. I have not gotten an update since I placed the pre-order, though. No, I have not. I'm looking for updates, though, constantly, because I am curious about it. Let's see. Core says, do you listen to a lot of earnings calls or mostly just check out the summaries? I would say I do both. I listen to all the companies I'm invested in and looking at investing in. I definitely listen to the earnings calls, especially the most recent one, but I also go back a year. I basically listened to the last 4 quarters of earnings calls when I look at a company or I'm invested in the company. And I also do look at the summaries, right? It's important to understand everything about a company if you're going to invest in them. You got to think about yourself like in the Shark Tank scenario where you're the shark, the company's the one that wants the money, right? You have to think like you're Mr. Wonderful, you're Mark Cuban looking at these companies, criticizing them, looking at the numbers. Does this make sense as an investment? Yes or no, right? That's the way I look at investments. Suburbs says, Rex, what are your thoughts on these big boys shorting the bond price? What if we see a large spike in yields? If people join the wave trying to make quick money, I'm not concerned about it. Over time, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, yields are still so low. I am not concerned whatsoever at all. Now, it's a realistic concern that could happen, but I think the markets are definitely way too concerned with the bond yields, with treasury yields right now. Let's see. Sven says, I also believe in the fact it's calculated in the price already by big investors. We need a PR and off the lawsuit for a big pop. In CleanSpark, I really think we could expect 20% gain day anytime soon. I agree. What was I going to say? The lawsuits. Yeah, the lawsuit deadline where they can't do attorney advertisements anymore is on Monday, so all that stuff will leave the news flow eventually. Devin says GameStop's crashing. I saw it was down 7% earlier. It's actually gone up a little bit since I looked at it the first time. Marathon up 4.5%. Riot up 3%. Looks like my girlfriend woke up. She's in the chat now. Bailey. Good morning, Bailey. Good to see you. CleanSpark up 2%. So this CleanSpark's had kind of a mixed day here. Up 2%, up 1.5%, up 3%, kind of gone up and down. And I think it's followed Bitcoin up and down for the most part today, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. Created's at 480 now. I've been buying Created CRTD in the 4s, basically whenever it touches the 4s. So I'll keep an eye on Created. Definitely one I'm thinking about buying more of in my other portfolios in particular. And Sven says Tuesday PR it will be popping. Yeah, just keep in mind CleanSpark is in a quiet period right now where they can't release press releases. It's an SEC rule, but as soon as the quiet period ends, which will be early next week, I would anticipate some news coming out from CleanSpark. Let's see. Mr. Interesting says, I wonder who these institutions were who bought Lord Sparky in the latest offering. Yeah, I'm curious as well, but if you go to, and we'll see it over time. We won't know right away, but we'll see it over time where these funds and institutions have to file forms with the SEC, so we'll see which funds took a stake in the company and which ones didn't. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the stream here. We got March Madness today, which, by the way, if you haven't joined the official RexFinance tournament challenge, be sure you do so. There's a link on my Twitter. You can win $1,000 if you have the top bracket. So, I'll be watching the markets all day. I'll be watching March Madness. Obviously, we want Bitcoin to do well, so keep an eye out for Bitcoin as the day progresses. Bitcoin does well, CleanSpark will do well, Tesla will do well, the NASDAQ will do well in general. So keep an eye out for all of those things. But thank you guys all for coming out today. It was a great week. Hopefully I'll be back next Monday with a live stream. I really enjoyed doing these, but it all depends on what I have going on with schoolwork and stuff. So with that, guys, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Peace out.